So I'm a little frustrated and I guess uncertain about my relationship with photography. I think largely right now what I'm doing is uh, merely an off ramp to get me to enable me to go all in on video work. That is largely where um, I feel like my heart and my passion are. But as I'm building that up, I still have to pay bills. I have to buy gear. There's things I need to do. So I need to lean into my existing skill set, which is photography. One of the catches is that I largely walked away from commercial stuff back in, I guess, end of second half of 2021 when I went back to school. And like this weekend, I had planned a mini shoot weekend for branding portraits, headshots, stuff like that. I don't want to say the one thing I'm realizing because I already knew this to be true, but I just, um, in order for you to kind of really be successful in something, you kind of have to be all in. You can't really dip your toes in something and have anything meaningful come out of it. So that puts me in this position where I thrive at a certain level in photography to be able to sustain my family and help build up my video stuff. And I guess the struggle for me is sinking all that time to kind of reinvent, represent myself in photography. All I had to do to kind of reestablish myself, and then to do that, and then to kind of find the work in photography to pay the bills, and then still devote time to honing my video chops, which is ultimately where I want to be. And then just as I kind of think I'm done and maybe mentally, emotionally have kind of written off photography, I see photographers' work that I super admire, and I guess it almost kind of inspires me to create, which is altogether not necessarily a bad thing, not a bad feeling. The other day I was on LinkedIn and there's a photographer, commercial photographer, who operates solely in the running space, and just seeing his take on running in New York City with a sort of street photography vibe to it, and his play with lights and shadows was just amazing. Just this morning I was on Instagram and I got an ad for a portrait photographer for like their workshops, and while their final images are a little too processed for me, their lighting is just, it's gorgeous. It's very painterly, kind of along the lines of like Annie Leibovitz, kind of that just soft, natural, almost looking unlit lighting, and that excites me. This particular photographer, who's I think like the second or third one I've come across in like the last month or so, who almost exclusively uses constant lights for their portrait, which is something that also excites me and kind of made me want to hop in the studio and try. I think by and large, whether I'm going to, regardless of at what level I'm going to continue doing photography at, I think largely I want to get away from working with individuals, unless I'm doing simply like a creative project, which I don't know that I would. I think the direction I'm trying to gear that business now is to go after corporate clients, whether it's headshots, business portraits, environmental portraits, things like that. Things where, I can go to this company and we'll, quote like $1,500 and up for a project versus having Susie Joe come in and I might get $400 or $500, even if or when video does become like the majority of my work. There's a strong possibility I'll always do still to some level. There are things that I just simply enjoy, like dance. That's just something I'm passionate about. But then again, like I see, this guy, Jason Buff, I think his name is, and there's another guy I came across recently. I think his IG is like Johnny Creative, and again, they're using these constant lights to see and shape light. And I think that's also one of the things that excites me most about video. I enjoy the storytelling, but just seeing the light play, like with interviews, and then even within like narrative work, like period dramas, that excites me. So I think at some point I might try to figure out kind of like what I can kind of do with that through line of soft, subtle, maybe dramatic, like that kind of lighting. Whether I'm taking on creative projects that allow me to simply kind of shape and play lights just to kind of, again, it's a creative pursuit, or perhaps I get into like the education space at some point, offering workshops and stuff like that. But I mean, it's, something I spent over, close to 2 decades doing as a commercial photographer, just playing and shaping light. It's something I just genuinely am a huge fan of. That's my ramblings for today. That's, I think just kind of what I want to start getting into, start spending more time doing. And I've even talked to, colleagues and friends in video saying that, like, I really want to spend more time honing in on my lighting, kind of, working off the back of my photography career to hone my lighting in video and just see where that takes me. And now, with my raspy voice, excuse me, I think I'm really done. It's like my 4th different attempt at a video today, but whatever. All right. Deuces.